In 2020, the world was plunged into a crisis unlike anything seen in a century. Streets emptied, nations locked down, and fear spread faster than the virus itself. But beneath the visible waves of panic, a deeper current was moving, one that would reshape global power, personal freedom, and the very concept of money.
Money will be cancelled, and everybody to start afresh. It will be so sudden, many will commit suicide.
A secret agenda, a coordinated vision for a world without cash, without private property, and without autonomy.
So when they tell you currency digitization, they're deceiving.
Money, in its simplest definition, is a medium of exchange, a unit of account, cash, bank deposits, a store of value. Money can be tangible assets such as land, real estate, livestock, vehicles, precious metals, etc.
Left to the globalists, you're not supposed to have any money. The banking system has been well orchestrated and ready to go.
Modern banking already operates in a world where most money isn't cash, it's digits.
Aren't they already making cash unnecessary?
In a world without cash, customers could no longer withdraw their money from the bank because it would only exist in electronic form. If the bank were to fail, customers could well lose their wealth.
This shift marks the beginning of an orchestrated dispossession. Ownership becoming conditional, not tangible. If money exists only within the banking system, then your access to it depends entirely on the system's rules.
Is there some kind of store in the bank where they are keeping your own money with your name written over there as this is how much cash they got for you? It's not there. Where's all your cash? They burnt it. So where's your money? So somebody's moving numbers up and down, left and right, left and right.
In November 2016, India made a shock announcement. Overnight, the country's largest denomination bills ceased to be legal tender. Suddenly, around 85% of India's banknotes could no longer be used. For days, there was chaos on the streets. Huge lines formed outside banks as panicked citizens sought to exchange their banknotes. What made it worse was that anyone wanting to change significant amounts was required to do so via a bank account, something that hundreds of millions of ordinary Indians didn't have. It forced many Indians to start using a credit card and various payment apps.
In an attempt to meet the Central Bank of Kenya's final deadline, the central bank declared Monday, September 30th as the last day on which all old local currencies must be exchanged for new ones. Failure to comply will only leave owners stuck with bundles of useless cash.
This forced the population to redirect their physical capital straight through vetted bank channels and electronic verification frameworks.
The Better Than Cash Alliance does indeed operate under the umbrella of the United Nations and works closely with international organizations. But is it really neutral and independent? Its members include companies like Visa and MasterCard, global corporations like H&M, Unilever and Gap. They're mainly interested in one thing: making a profit. The initiative is also supported by numerous governments and foundations, including that of Microsoft founder Bill Gates. The Better Than Cash Alliance wants to see people around the world living in cashless societies.
Well, we believe having the ability to save and transact is something that should be universal, and we won't be able to do that with traditional systems. That is, the cost of bank branches and paperwork is just too high.
And then you have a card that does nothing but identify you.
You have to swipe it instead. It's going to send a message to my bank in England and tell a bunch of stuff to them. They're going to alter all their databases before I can get this thing here. So And they're going to log this as well. They're able to see this. And now there's this third party who's going to watch what I'm doing. So this machine's forcing me to do it. Finally, we got it.
Could we become completely transparent just by doing our shopping? Where companies know everything about us.
We're losing an element of freedom here. We're allowing ourselves to be monitored.
Once you have the digital money system, then there's all sorts of services and applications that can be built on top of that.
As the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the planet, governments scrambled for solutions. Vaccines arrived with unprecedented speed.
Number one is to ensure they're able to eliminate those they want to eliminate through the vaccines. And the second one is financial control.
The vaccine era acted as a bridge to the true focus, the introduction of the digital ID.
They said the digital ID must be such that the human person will be directly connected to it in such a way fraud isn't possible. So the only way that that will happen is by putting the ID in your body.
COVID makes it accelerates the process of digitalization and automatization, and it makes surveillance go under your skin.
These IDs utilize your facial recognition, fingerprints or iris scan for a wide range of services.
It's about building the infrastructure of control so that then you can control people's behavior.
In which you will have to have a digital ID to live your life. So the right to work, then the right to rent, banking, education, childcare, voting.
Listen to what this warning here from a former member of parliament.
You say yes to digital ID, you'll never be able to say no to your government ever again, and that's where they want us. So we will be completely controllable, and then it won't matter what we say, what we think, because we won't be able to do anything.
In the name of saving the planet, proposals have been discussed about tracking each person's digital footprint, monitoring factors such as travel, fuel usage, and even consumer habits like clothing purchases. In the name of the greater good, whether during a pandemic, a terrorist attack, or efforts to reduce crime or environmental impact, tracking people's behavior, movements, or even thoughts might be considered reasonable.
So you try to get money, you access your accounts, you want money, oh, declined. Why? Do you think this is a joke? I have money, but it's declined. For what reason? Maybe your political affiliation? Something. You don't support LGBTQ, ST, whatever. Something they said, you said 25 years ago. They found it. Or they're investigating whether what you believe or what you don't believe. They said they are still investigating. Until they finish investigation, they can't pay you anything. You have to pay something. You need money. No one is listening because it's from your house. You're no longer coming to the bank.
National Police Service sending to banks the names of people involved in protests.
In Canada, peaceful citizens who protested outdoors against pandemic measures had some of their bank accounts frozen.
It was the first time in the modern West that financial access was switched off by a head of state for political reasons.
Nigel Farage lost his bank account briefly because his values did not align with that of the bank.
Vietnam imposed a requirement for a digital ID, including a biometric scan of everyone in order to have a bank account. And what they did to enforce this is they closed 86 million bank accounts and seized all of the assets in those accounts. So the owners of those accounts have no ability to do banking or access their funds because they chose not to sacrifice their privacy and submit to this biometric surveillance tracking mechanism.
The big problem here from privacy activists is that everyday users are going to be exposed to a whole new vulnerability, which is the breaking of their end-to-end encryption services.
These programs, mass surveillance, is not about public safety. It is not about terrorism. it is about power. It is about economic espionage, it is about diplomatic manipulation, and it is about social influence.
In the UK, internet authorities constantly monitor online discourse and can arrest individuals based on their posts.
She's basically viewed a post, which is not an arrestable offence.
The only thing is we need to seize the phone at this current moment. Your daughter will get arrested.
For what?
And
viewing a social media post? Is that
I need to go with that in order to...
No, absolutely not.
So the digital currency and digital ID, they're working together. Those two things are tied together.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17.
And that's why the central banks of the world today are working towards what they call CBDCs. So they want to make sure it becomes digital so they can control everybody's money, control what you buy, how you buy, where you go, who you know.
Central bank digital currency. So it's a currency issued by the central bank, which is a privately held institution, and the head of the International Bank Settlement, the IBS, says that he wants the money to be programmable, which means what? They can program the functions of the money at any moment.
To expiring money. This is when they now manipulate, instead of giving you the stick to say, if you save, you get more in return, the carrot rather, they will bring a stick, which is, if you don't spend it, it will expire. This is a problem. This is a problem. It definitely is about control of what you can spend, when you can spend it, and what you can spend it on.
Money as you know it will be gone. Digital currency already exists. So when you hear about CBDC, central bank digital currency, they're telling you about the centralization of what you have called money. And notice what I said, what you have called money. The globalists working through the banking system is to cancel money as you know it. And it will not happen gradually. It will happen suddenly. They have almost everything in place.
The nature of this CBDC, what is it actually going to look like? They never talk about that. But I heard one European central banker tell me what it's going to look like. He saw it, and it was around this large and would be implanted under your skin.
The company Walletmore says the $300 chip is the size of a grain of rice. You'd most likely have it implanted in your hand, and once it's activated, you can use it at a checkout by just swiping your hand over the card readers.
Unlike the cash in your pocket, every CBDC transaction is recorded on a centralized ledger operated by the issuing bank. Access can be turned on or off instantly, and individual transactions can be scrutinized and blocked.
If you look at what AI is good at, AI is very good at simulating anything that can be expressed mathematically. And of course, the thing we all know can be expressed mathematically are our financial transactions. And the reality is, if I can track you closely where you're going and what you're doing, and I can get you on programmable money, which can be turned on and off, then I can start to use AI and surveillance systems and algorithms to basically manage and control your behavior. So if I want you living in a 15-minute city, your money won't work beyond the 15 minutes unless you do what I say. So we have a wonderful woman who runs our team cash, and she says, you know, what are you going to do when they show up and say either you transgender your children or we're going to turn off your money? So what we're talking about doing is building a system that will allow you to be surveillance and tracked and turn your money on and off or incentivize you or penalize you in a variety of ways with your money that can be integrated with your behavior.
Today, more than 130 countries representing over 98% of global GDP are exploring or have already piloted these systems.
Central bank digital currency is often described as convenience, cleaner, faster, more secure.
The bottom line here is not ease or convenience. That's how they're going to sell it, right? The ultimate objective is to move us to a cashless society.
When in fact they are giving themselves all of the power, taking it away from us, undermining our God-given rights and freedoms in the Constitution because they want to be able to control us. They want to be able to control we the people.
They go with another term, tokenization of everything. So they're telling you, we're going to give value to everything about you.
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities, the bonds, across the board. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start focusing, moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem.
Food, water, clothing, even the air you take in and release, all measured, all taxed, all programmable.
The WEF says, World Economic Forum says, that the financial system of the world is not balanced, that there's so much that is left outside the economy that must now be recalculated, that the actual wealth of an individual has not been correctly stated. So now let's know your actual wealth and how much you owe society as well. So it's not just one-sided. How much does the society owe you and how much do you owe? It includes your breathing. So they're going to recalculate it. Recalculate it. Everything that can be valued will be valued.
You tokenize assets that are real world assets. So I love to think about cash and the US dollar being something that you can take it, you put $1 in the bank account, and then you put a digital representation on a blockchain. And it is just a fascinating opportunity to be able to reach lots more people than you could historically. We see it happening with not just like dollars and securitized assets, but even real estate. And if you think about oil, and there's lots of different tokenization happening, and it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously in the early days, it was gold and silver and all of those different pieces too. So
even intellectual property can be tokenized.
One of the creators of the ETF model originally, which BlackRock now owns, iShares, his name is Peter Kniez, I think is how you pronounce it. He's trying to turn the Amazon rainforest into a digital commodity, sort of similar to Bitcoin in terms of like the scarcity idea that, each hectare of the Amazon rainforest would represent a token and then financialize it that way. And then each hectare would then have its unique identifier, right, on the blockchain, and would be, serviced by surveillance drones and all sorts of stuff. So even our most like natural, the places we conceptualize as the most natural places on earth, these people want to come in, place surveillance technology and, tokenize it and put it on a blockchain. And
the ability to use that data to extract value from you is extraordinary. So let me give you an example. We create an asset token on your house. I heard one software developer saying, the great thing about tokenizing your real estate is then when you check out at the grocery store, you can pay for your groceries with 0.01% of 1% of your house equity. Well, you can imagine if I can start to extract your equity in those variety of ways, how quickly it will be to be able to siphon off ownership and control of your assets.
They have to rob you of your personal property. You have nothing. And that's why they're coming from the back door and selling the idea that you own nothing but you'll be happy. In fact, some organizations have already bought into it. They're saying they're going to be hiring everything.
There's certain people that want to own everything, and that includes things that have never been able to be owned before, that were considered things like the public commons, like rivers, lakes, the ocean itself, natural forests, all sorts of it. These people want to put all of that into the financial system, fractionalize it, tokenize it, and sell pieces of it around, use it to speculate on. So this is just one aspect of the digital currency play. Obviously, there's a lot more than that.
Beyond the complexities of economics, beyond the designs of institutions, beyond the ambitions of global powers, there is a hope anchored in the return of the Lord Jesus.
Listen, don't plan to be here. When that day comes, my brother, my sister, don't be here. If you fight the fight of faith, using the word and standing on the word and proclaiming the word in prayer, everything will line up with your decrees outside. The forces of this world, the forces of darkness will comply. They have to. We have to comply.
The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Deuteronomy 28, verse 8.